Hey, everybody, and welcome to the HTBox AllReady community stand-up. We are talking about AllReady, which is a piece of software that is used in prod with real people. It's an open source project, and it is all about coding for the greater good on ASP.NET Core. So we've got a couple of people here with us today. Jim's just joining right now. I've also got Tony on. Tony, why don't you go ahead and kick us off today?
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. It's been a bit since I've been on a stand-up, so I'll run through some of the numbers and where we're at. We've got over 3,100 commits, over about 127 looks like the exact number of contributors. We've actually had quite a few new folks in the last couple of weeks and month or so, and that's been great. What we're doing is we're pushing to get to what we're calling V1. You know, no software project's ever technically done, but we're trying to get to sort of a V1, lock something in. And so we've got just a handful of issues. If you go over to issues and you were to look at the milestone, which is the V1 release milestone, we've got technically 50 open issues, but we're actually working through to make sure that they're all accurate and right, and you know, analyzing duplicates. And Jim, who I think joined the call, is, you know, one of the folks along with Pascal, who's working with us to really narrow down what exactly is the gap between this and what we can declare sort of a V1 finished product. At the same time, we're gathering issues and architectural ideas of things we can do sort of V next, be that V1.1 or whatever you want to call it. And so there's another milestone there where we're starting to gather. But overall, the project's going really well. We've got lots of contributions, lots of active folks going on it. Since I was last on, and I'm not sure if this was since the last stand-up, I lose a little track of time, we are up on Visual Studio 2017. That means that we've got the new set of tooling, the new CS proj, all of that. And, you know, for some of us, it's been working really well, and a couple of us, we're finding some errors, so we're working through that. But we've got it up on there, so that means everybody can use the latest tools. We're also, thankfully, after what, James, 18 months or 24 months of being on an RC or a beta or beta tooling or, you know, something that's not production, if you will. We're finally on fully supported official tooling, official platform, and all of that. So we've worked through the kinks, and I worked through the deployment issues with VS 2017, but we're there and we're deployed and we're running live out there for testing and all of that in 2017 and the latest .NET Core LTS.
Right on, yeah, and this is, I mean, you'd mentioned like people looking at the source code, looking at any of the issues. So everything, of course, is out there on GitHub, including the AppVeyor script that we used to build. So everything is built in using AppVeyor. Our tests are automatically run. It deploys to, we deploy it out to Azure for our test environment. So there's lots of cool things going on here lots of moving parts, lots of interesting tech. One of the things that we're going to be working on here in the next couple of weeks, one of the initiatives that I'm taking on is actually simplifying some of the dependency injection bits. We use AutoFac, and we're using Mediator for messaging, for in-process messaging, but we're also going to be using Azure Functions. So we were previously on web jobs, and of course the next evolution of that is Azure Functions. So if you are looking to expand your skill set and work with really cool tech, then this is probably a decent project to work on. Even if you have to go through some of the growing pains, which we're doing with Visual Studio and the build server and all of those things.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, Jim, we've got you on the call here. Any updates from your side?
Yeah, just real quick, I've heard Tony's call to arms to get issues get everything figured out that we want so that we can get this V1 release. So I'll be working with him to get that knocked out, and so we'll hopefully have some updates to the issues so people can focus on those and we can get that done. Also working with a company here in Chicago to get them to host they want to host a hackathon for this project, so I'm working on that. And we've got a big event as the American Red Cross coming up in October, in which we'll have a chance to deploy the applications. So looking at how we can do that as well. So those are the things that are on my calendar right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's great you mentioned the hackathon. Now, if anybody out there who's done a hackathon before or a codeathon, I guess, for the HTBox AllReady project, the first one is great and you get people inducted and interested and all of those kinds of things. But Tony, Steve did one just earlier, I guess about a month ago now, maybe a little bit longer, and it was the second one that he did with the same group of folks, and that one was unreal for turning over issues.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we've seen that same thing like with that conference year over year, which we plan on being a part of. Again, I think it's this August, that it just kind of grows in the momentum. You get return folks that work together as a team, and it's those little speed up pads in Sonic the Hedgehog. Things just go faster and faster after the first time. So we're also talking with a couple other folks who have reached out to us. This is a great milestone for us. A couple folks have reached out who we hadn't worked with before, hadn't connected, who are looking to host a hackathon at their company or in their local event. So we've got quite a few potential events coming up here soon.
Right on. Yeah, and I said hackathon, you said hackathon. And I guess what we like to actually try and encourage is the use of codeathon.
Yes, thank you. Codeathon.
Yeah, because I guess when people say hackathon, you kind of think, I'm going to drop some code, I'm going to leave it. And that's not what we do. We take the architecture very seriously on the project. We have unit tests. We've got automated deployments, automated testing, all of those things in place. So we take this as seriously as a project that anyone in corporate business people would pay for and use professional engineers for. So you're not jumping on, if you do participate in one of the codeathons, you're not jumping into a Hackamimey solution here. We're trying to do a best effort here for architecture and those kinds of things.
As well as, it's a good point, we use codeathon, and I got to correct myself, get a little buzzer every time I say it and hit me. But the reason why I also say codeathon is a lot of people think of hackathon as come in, sort of blank slate, file new project, have to have an idea, have to figure out, then feel like they have to own it after it goes live or anything like that. And this is absolutely not that. We want to effectively have a 1 or 2 day, maybe a 4 hour, whatever it is, sprint almost, if you will. You jump in, grab some issues, work on them, and then, like you said, support them with good architecture and good unit tests, and then, let go. And if you want to continue to contribute after that day, that's fabulous. If you just want to be that day or two and then let go, that works as well. You don't have to feel like you own a project or have an idea or anything like that. Just come be a contributor to the project, add some code, and move on.
Now, you did give me an idea for an actual hackathon, though. We could build an IoT device with voice recognition that detects whenever you say hackathon, and it would then give you a shock. It would just administer a little zap. That would work.
There you go.
Awesome. Okay, well, we don't have too many project updates. We've merged in a number of PRs. I saw those getting merged in here this week as well. There are still, as you said, Tony, 50 issues out there, so lots of ways to contribute. Those can be, there's some small ones in there. There's some CSS, some HTML stuff, but there's also some Razor View related things. There's features that can be built out, including C# code. And of course, as I mentioned, we've got dependency injection issues in there. We've got some issues on converting web jobs to Azure Functions. If I don't have those in there already, I'll get them in here. So those kinds of things are all out there, and depending on your level of skill and comfort and what your experience has been, then we fully encourage you to jump in and participate. Wonderful. Anything else from your guys' side?
Nope.
Good stuff. Okay, well, we will reconvene in 2 or 3 weeks. We'll plan that off in the Slacks, and then we'll post it up on our YouTube page. Please remember to like, comment if you've got questions, share, and of course, hit our GitHub page and check out the project. Just fork a copy of it. There's guides in there from Steve and Dave Paquette, who have given just wonderful how to get started on this project. Those are still valid and current. They'd still work almost verbatim, even though the shifting tools to 2017. So please be sure to check those out, and we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.